Spoiler alert, you and your specific person end up together. So it doesn't matter what's happening right here, right now in your reality. You must, you absolutely have to end up together because this is the intention I'm setting in this video. And you wouldn't be watching this video if that weren't the case. And so all you have to do is accept this in your reality because everything that you want, including your specific person, is wanting you more than you're actually wanting them. And at first, if you don't believe me, that's okay, because we're going to get into it today and you're going to understand that you are so much more successful than you could ever imagine. And I actually want to start with a really basic idea on this concept of desire. So there's actually two ways in which we can approach our manifestation. So if we have the desire for something and we feel as if it's unobtainable, meaning that we can get it, this results in a feeling of hope. But at the same time, so basically how you responded to my first spoiler alert, if we desire something and we feel it's unobtainable, this results in a feeling of despair. Okay. And so then we know the desire is something that you need in order to manifest, but whether you believe it can happen or not is totally in alignment with then the way you feel and the way you're going to be manifesting. So if you can just get into the state of believing that you are totally going to be together, and that at least if you don't believe that right now, because I know for a fact you can, but at least just feel in this moment it's possible. Okay. Because again, in a movie, when you get spoiled, it may not look exactly how it's going to look in the end, but we know everything always takes us there because it is absolutely scripted, and you have to follow the script. You and your specific person and your whole reality has to follow the script and bring you two together. So again, it doesn't matter what circumstances you are having in your reality. By acting from a new state, you're going to see a total difference in everything that is occurring. And the way that we're actually going to do this, and because you might be asking, okay, Kyle, so how do we actually do that? How do I actually get into the belief? How do I actually start to create this and see the script that is actually bringing you and your specific person together? And it has everything to do with something of basically where our focus is. So it's something called the gap and the gain. And it's just a focus. So it's a change in our value in which we're placing upon our reality, because the value you are putting on things around you has everything to do with the way that you're going to perceive it. So the gap and the gain is a comparison. So when you're in the gap, just in the way that it sounds, we're in a negative state. We're viewing ourselves as we are and comparing it to where we should be. And anytime you hear the word should, you should instantly pull back and reevaluate whatever it is that you're saying. So anytime you say the word should, it basically means and implies that you are not where you are supposed to be. But tell me a time in your reality in which you said the word should, or felt like you should be someplace else, or you should be doing better, that you ever felt good, right? And that's the gap, because you're actually comparing yourself to an ideal of the horizon, right? If you think of the gap as focusing on the horizon, remember, you can't ever reach the horizon. It's an idealistic point of view. And the point, obviously, we want to have this ideal or this view, or to look at the horizon in order to know where we want to go. But we never want to compare ourselves to that, because it's actually impossible to get there. So literally get the word should out of your vocabulary, as well as the word but. None of that ever helps us, because that's also a way that we're going to undo any sort of success that we're having. When you say, yes, I did this, but that didn't happen, but this, but that, but just completely ruins our state. So the gap again is comparing yourself to where you are to where you feel as if you should be. But think of the internal state that it's actually producing. It's one that's not going to help us out at all. But instead, you can look at the gain. So the gain is looking at the positive. So focusing on, even though, again, our reality, so the script that's playing out may not be showing us exactly what we want, we begin to see the script and how it's actually bringing us together. The gain then is focusing on what you have. It's focusing on where you were as compared to in the past and where you are now, and being grateful for everything that's occurring. But then remember the law of assumption and think about the state that you're going to be in that moment. When you're in the gain, you feel happy, you feel abundant, you feel loved. And think about how you would feel in your end state. We feel very, very good. The gain also increases this feeling or belief that we can have exactly what we desire. When you are in the gain, it makes so much sense why your specific person is going to come into your reality. It just fits the script that is playing out. And then you're basically, you're having this spoiler alert because you already know what's going to happen. But those are the two things that have a massive, massive impact on, again, whether we believe that we can be with our specific person or not. So again, it's already set in stone. You're watching this video. You would not be watching this video if you weren't meant to be with your specific person, so you don't have to worry about it. You just have to start believing it yourself. Because even when focusing on the gap, so focus on where we are as to where we should be, when something good happens, we actually end up feeling even worse, right? Because then something good happens and we feel that we still should be further along. It's like you manifesting to marry your specific person next week and they send you a text message. That's a good thing, right? That's a gain. That's a bridge of events taking you to exactly what you want. But you're going to say, but that's not marriage. Oh, but that's not a date, right? We're bringing in that word but all over again. And so this concept, you can imagine how then being in the gap, focusing on why you can't have it, this idea of desire plus feeling as if it's unobtainable leads to despair. It makes a whole lot of sense because then that's what I said before, you're having so much more success than you could ever imagine. You just need to see it. So then you're having success, but then focusing on the gap and you feel like you're not. So these good things are happening and your mind is actually putting it into the realm of being non-successful. I know it's absolutely crazy that our mind can do this, but truly we just have to pull ourselves out of this. And remember, the script is already laid out. When you desire and assume what you want, everything happens perfectly. You don't have to do anything, right? You just have to watch it play out and stay in the state and have the focus and the belief that it's absolutely occurring in the best way possible. Remember, everything you desires you even more. And you can even act as if it's a movie that you've already seen and you already know the ending, right? If you watched a movie that you've already seen and you know the couple comes together at the end, even though you might feel nervous or anxious in the middle because things are going crazy, you know what's going to happen. And so that belief and that concept keeps you calm, hopeful, and happy and abundant in the current state. So that's the exact thing that I want you to do with your specific person. And so let me not just say this, but give you an example of it. So this person was in my email coaching and here's what they wrote. They were, "Good morning, Kyle. I wanted to let you in on something amazing. My specific person texted me yesterday to ask how I was doing. That text turned into a call. We spoke for 4 hours. He said he misses me and wishes he could see me. He asked if I would be willing to try again." This person had just as many circumstances, just as many worries, just as many fears as you had, and they knew, and we set the intention, everything is always working out in your favor. You are literally a moment away from having this same exact success because manifestations always come not when we least expect them, but it comes in ways that is above and beyond our logical mind. Obviously, when we're getting into the state, we start to see that a little more, but we're never going to know exactly how it's going to occur. But again, this is you. It's spoiler alert. This is you. You are someone who deserves to be with your specific person and is going to be with your specific person. There's no way that you could possibly not get them. So take this focus that you're having and focus on the gain and not the gap. And you're going to start to see you're going to see yourself in the way that I see you and that everything is working out in your favor. Whether, again, you believe it or not, the movie script is set. You and your specific person are coming together. So it doesn't matter what's occurring, what circumstance, long distance, no contact, third parties, whatever it is does not matter because you are meant to be with them. If you did have any questions on this concept, make sure to leave them in the comment section below. Remember, you can also reach out to me on my website at kyleaugustcoaching.com. And if you want to perform and come into our 30-day challenge to be with your specific person, make sure to click the link in the description and become a member. We meet every single day for a live. As always, thank you so much for stopping by today. I'll see all my members later, and then I'll see everyone else in my video tomorrow.